Yeah, well, there's an enormous amount of research on the effect of sugar. What they've discovered is even a moderate elevation of sugar is damaging to the brain. People who consume the greatest amount of sugar have the highest incidence of cancer. So all the major diseases, the major killers, the major cripplers in human health are related to high sugar intake. If you look at the ranking of the sugars, glucose is the least damaging. Sucrose is a little bit more damaging. The worst of all on this scale is the high fructose corn syrup, the aspartame, the Splenda. So we've got some links to some very bad diseases, and we know why. Because aspartame is broken down into formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a known powerful carcinogen. Now the Splenda is a chlorinated glucose. When you add a halogen, which is a very reactive element, to glucose, it becomes carcinogenic. It damages cells. It increases free radical generation. So by adding the artificial sweeteners, you're directly damaging yourself with some very powerful toxins. Plus, you're not getting rid of your sugar cravings. People think, well, I'll take this supplement, or I heard on the news about this supplement that protects your brain. If I take that, then I can just eat and do what I want to. Well, you can't. It's sort of like having a sink that's overflowing. And instead of shutting off the water, you just keep calling for more mops. You gotta turn the water off, turn the water off, turn the water off, turn the water off, turn the water off.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. I have another tip video for you guys this week. I'm going to be talking about artificial sweeteners, sugar substitutes, and I'm also going to mention a few natural sugars that I think are okay for our diets. Obviously, all sugar is better in moderation, but we'll get into that. The first thing I want to say, though, is artificial sweeteners, they are good for you, right? They make you classy. They make you sexy. They also make you very creative. You want to write when you're drinking or eating anything with artificial sweeteners. So unless you want to be a world-famous, billboard-crushing pop star, you don't need artificial sweeteners or sugar substitutes in your life. You know how you usually hear people say, why is everything so bad for us if it tastes so good? That's because we crave a diet that's high in calories, high in salt, high in fat, and high in sugar. Food has become too accessible to us, and a lot of us abuse that privilege, and this is what results in the health problems: obesity, heart problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, and the list goes on. So people have always been looking for this miracle sweetener that could be 0 calories, still taste good, and be added to the food, drinks, and chewing gums around the world, and people won't feel like they're abusing their diet, right? So companies came up with an idea to make a miracle chemical to throw into food to basically trick people into thinking that they're really not eating anything that's bad for them since it's 0 calories. And even now, I could see why back then people would think, oh, this is a good thing, I could definitely use this. If it's being marketed as a healthy thing, then I will do it. My favorite pop singer is drinking this, I could drink this, it's fine. People really aren't worried about the harmful effects things could take on you, even if it's a long-term effect, right? So people still smoke cigarettes, people still eat junk food, people know the long-term effects, they're not good, but they still do it anyway, because who's really worried 25, 30 years down the line about your health? I know I am now, a lot of us should be, but a lot of people don't. They live in the now, which can be right in some instances, but in this one, I do not think that's the way to think. Now, people today will argue with you why the artificial sweeteners and sugar substitutes are all good for you because they say the FDA approved it. So without sounding like I'm trying to make a conspiracy theory, let's just look at some facts, right? The FDA approves GMOs, the FDA approves MSG, and they also approved aspartame. So I'm not really concerned with what testing they did for those things by themselves. Did the FDA ever have all of those things thrown into one meal over the course of 30 years? Did they test that? Someone eating those things all wedged into one. So you want to go out to dinner and you want to get a burger along with your beer, along with your fried French fries and your bottled salad dressing on your Caesar salad, right? But they never tested those things all in once over the course of time. They only tested one thing individually. But us as Americans, we're eating foods filled with MSG, artificial sweeteners and flavors. We're also compounding that with alcohol as a drink. If you're drinking a Diet Coke with any type of alcohol, vodka, do you think the FDA tested someone over the course of time to ingest those two things and said it was healthy, they would have definitely seen some type of negative impact. And that's what us as Americans and around the world are fighting with today. The overconsumption of food and all of these bad things thrown into basically a diet and concentrated into a small amount of time. It's not good for our body. That's why we have a lot of people in this country and the world who are struggling with obesity. We have a lot of heart disease problems. In America, it's probably the #1 killer. And it's just evidence to showing us that the diet that we thought was right for us is not. And I'm not a doctor. I was not there when the FDA approved any of these things, even MSG, any of those flavor enhancers. But I can tell you right now, if you throw those things into a blender and you blend it all together, that's basically what our body is digesting. And it's not good for us. You see the harm that artificial sweeteners and sugar substitutes can cause us, right? So if you mix that with what alcohol can do to us, what a diet high in dairy and salt and red meat can do to us, mixed with a bunch of other things, caffeine. I mean, it's not good. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to tell you I know everything, all the answers. I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. I'm just giving you guys basic facts about what has happened in the last 50 years with our food and our diets. So when you think about that, that could really give you our American diet, at least in America, in a nutshell. And that's why we struggle with obesity, high blood pressure, cancer, and all these harmful health problems we suffer today.